All right, English 125 onliners. It's time to discuss Essay 4, The Better Wheel. Due date, online class, Wednesday, 11/26. Length, 5 pages plus a works cited. And this vid also has updated information for what's due when. So if you look here, you'll see that this information is different than that in the handout. And this allows me to see which ones of you are actually doing the work, okay? Who here is actually watching the videos? So, consider Toni Morrison, American novelist, African American woman. She didn't invent the novel. It's been around for ages before she made it current and more dynamic. But what happens when Toni Morrison comes along is she gives the novel different types of protagonists, different settings, some different elements that hadn't been used before or hadn't been used well. And she made the American novel, at the very least, a better representation of the rest of America that is typically not examined in novels or hadn't been before she arrived on the scene. Toni Morrison has amazing African American female characters that are just rich and full of life and flaws. And she changed what the novel looks like in America. But she didn't reinvent it. Now consider Facebook. It wasn't the first social media platform. Simply, for all intents and purposes, improved upon MySpace, Friendster, and didn't start everything over again. Just made what was existing better. Magic Johnson was not the first point guard in the NBA, but he made that role more important. Point guards are typically little guys. A lot of them shoot pretty well, some don't. Magic Johnson made the point guard someone who could score, who make a lot of baskets, who couldn't just pass the ball, or who didn't just pass the ball, but rebounded because he was 6'9" in a role that's typically for guys who are about 6'3" to 6'4". And he played great defense. He was amazing. But he wasn't the first point guard. He just made the role better. Here's the point. The best critical thinkers don't necessarily reinvent stuff from the ground up. They improve on things. Your job in Essay 4 is to find one person in history that took convention and made it better, but without destroying that convention. Okay? For example, Stanislavski changed the way that actors act. Before Stanislavski, as you know from our reading, that much of acting was presentational. If you earned the role of Juliet, Romeo and Juliet, your job was to look like you were in love with that boy from the Rotten Family, and you said your lines, and you acted in a very broad way that sort of sold the story to the audience. But here's the deal. With Stanislavski, actors can now use his techniques and those who have built upon them to connect emotionally and psychologically with their characters. The result oftentimes are more interesting performances. Now, granted, there's people who have studied Stanislavski and they are terrible actors. And there are still presentational performers who are basically just themselves. So if you watch a Hugh Grant movie, 9 times out of 10 you're watching Hugh Grant in a movie. You're not watching Hugh Grant play somebody. Some would say that many of the summer Will Smith movies are like that too. Now, granted, there's his role in the Muhammad Ali film. There's his role in 6 Degrees of Separation. Yeah, the guy can act. But a lot of times, it seems in his movies, he's just Will Smith. Or a variation on that personality. Okay? But Stanislavski didn't rewrite Shakespeare. He didn't rewrite the plays. He just showed performers how to get engaged in the play better. So how do you complete this paper? Pick something conventional, something with parts. with rules or norms, something that's part of our very world's very fabric. It could be a type of art, a sport, a type of business, a type of business person, a school, a type of school, a form of government. Okay? Prove to the reader that you understand how this convention worked before the innovator in question tweaked it. And then reveal how exactly the innovator improved upon the convention. This is going to be a major part of your work right here. I have to make sure that you know exactly how that convention operated before the innovator changed it. So think of it this way. Maybe even more than half of the paper is going to be investigating the cause. And then the rest will examine the effect. And if you just look to Wikipedia, you just look to websites, you're not going to get everything. You need to just look at someone about whom there's been a lot written. Okay? So some caveats. You can't give me another essay on Mark Zuckerberg, Abe Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Jesus Christ, Eleanor Roosevelt, Rosa Parks, or Susan B. Anthony. I have read every essay like this on these fine people who are wonderful contributors to our history. Anyone else? Week of 1027. See, boom, we missed that because of society or something. Let's see. Week of 11-3. Email your initial thesis and works cited to me by Saturday at 9 p.m. So just go. Start pounding out some research. I would be more concerned, actually, with the works cited page if I were you. And you and I individually can go back and forth on the phone or by email about your thesis. Ed, pardon me while I yawn. It's not you, it's me. Next week, I will return your works cited in your thesis with notes via email. If I can do it sooner, I obviously will. Be prepared for me to ask a ton of questions. Just a bunch. And you're going to go, I don't know what to do. And then we keep going back and forth, if we need to, through week of 11-17. You submit a draft to me on Monday, November 17 at 9 a.m., and I'll return to you a draft with questions ASAP. And then this is due the 26th. Okay. Grading rubric. More emphatically, I can answer yes, the higher the rules. Do you clearly describe the convention as it was before the subject changed it? Do you understand its origins, working parts, vital rules, all of its important details? Basically, it's who, what, when, where, why, and how. 20 points. Do you reveal how your innovator changed the convention in question in detail? 20 points. Evidence from excellent sources, 15. Essay well structured, 20. MLA guidelines, 15. Sentences, 10 points. But this is going to be a hard 10, dudes. And this is going to be a hard 15. Because this is where you folks, some of you, for no reason, are still just lagging. And you just got to find a way to get better at it. Or let me know if you need help. If I can't help you, I'll send you to the Writing Center, and I will find people that can help you. Okay? Sources. All sources should pass the CRAP test. Unless they're absolutely vital, I need you to try to avoid web pages. If you want to use them to find sources like Wikipedia, that's fine. But take some time to look through books, journal articles, news stories, film, television, radio shows with experts. Look through stuff that has stood the test of some time. So, for instance, I have a student in one of my classes that's actually held in a classroom and not online. And he's looking at Hemingway, and he's already looking at biographies of Hemingway, different biographies, and different literary criticisms of Hemingway. So you should do some digging. I think you'll need probably 5 to 7 sources, and I think 2 to 3 will be primary sources that you probably need to summarize in the essay. But I want you to succeed, so ask questions. Deal? This is it. I hope you like it. Let me know if you need help. Good luck.